In the dark, brooding forests of 15th century Wallachia, a legend was born, a ruler whose name became a synonym for terror, whose cruelty became a myth, and whose wrath would inspire one of the most famous monsters in history. This is the chilling true story of Vlad the Impaler, the man who was the real Dracula. Vlad III didn't start as a monster. He was born into a world of brutal warfare, shifting alliances, and constant betrayal. As a young boy, he and his brother were taken hostage by the powerful Ottoman Empire. It was there, in the court of his enemies, that he learned the hard lessons of power, politics, and military tactics. He observed their customs, understood their strategies, and most importantly, he never ever forgot those who wronged his family and his homeland. When he finally returned to Wallachia to reclaim his throne, he was a changed man, forged in the fires of captivity and driven by a thirst for vengeance. Once in power, Vlad ruled with an absolute, iron fist. His mission was crystal clear: defend his small principality from the overwhelming might of the Ottoman Empire, no matter the cost, and that cost was almost always paid in blood. Vlad wasn't just a warrior, he was a master of psychological warfare, using methods that were unheard of in their brutality. His preferred method of execution gave him his infamous name, impalement. He used scorched earth tactics, poisoning wells and burning villages to leave nothing for an invading army. His goal was to create a reputation so terrifying that his enemies would freeze in their tracks before even drawing a sword. To the Ottomans, he was a demon, but to many of his own people, he was something else entirely. A fierce defender, a patriot who refused to bow to a foreign power. His most legendary and gruesome act came when the massive Ottoman army, led by Sultan Mehmed II himself, marched into Wallachia. They were expecting to find Vlad's army ready for a fight. Instead, they found a nightmare. Stretching for miles outside the capital city of Targovik was a scene of unimaginable horror. A forest of the impaled. Tens of thousands of captured Ottoman soldiers and sympathizers were displayed on tall wooden stakes. The sight and stench were so shocking, so profoundly horrifying, that it broke the morale of the entire invading army. Seasoned soldiers who had seen countless battles were said to have turned back in sheer terror. This singular act of psychological warfare became the cornerstone of his dark legend. But behind the shocking tales of cruelty was a complex and fascinating figure. Vlad was a skilled strategist, a cunning politician, and a leader who understood the brutal realities of his time. He was a devout Christian who saw himself as a bulwark against invasion, a man who built monasteries and defended his faith while committing unspeakable acts. He was fighting for the survival of his homeland against an empire that seemed unstoppable. Was he a hero or a villain, a patriot or a psychopath? The answer likely lies somewhere in the murky gray area between the two. Vlad the Impaler died as violently as he had lived, his end shrouded in the same kind of mystery and conflict that defined his life. But his legend refused to die with him. Stories of the bloodthirsty Prince of Wallachia spread across Europe, passed down through generations. Centuries later, an Irish author named Bram Stoker would stumble upon these tales and borrow his name for a new kind of monster creature of the night, a vampire named Count Dracula. Vlad the Impaler remains one of history's most polarizing and fascinating figures. A man caught forever between heroism and horror, fact and fiction. He was a product of a violent age, a ruler who used terror as a weapon to protect his people. This is the true story behind Dracula, not a vampire, but a man whose real-life legacy of blood and fear continues to haunt our imagination to this day. Thanks for watching, and if you want to explore more dark corners of history, don't forget to like and subscribe.